Why do we spend so much time and money modifying motorcycles? Well, because stock motorcycles are a little bit like hotel pillows. They are meant to please everyone, but the truth is that nobody enjoys using them. Hello adventurers, my name is Diogo Guerra and this is Off-Road Off-Course. This CFMoto 450 MT and I have been together for over a year and we clocked 17,000 kilometers already. Most of them done off-road and most of them not gently. Along the way I've done a bunch of modifications in order to make the bike fit my riding style a little bit better. So today I'm going to share with you all the things that I have done, all the things that I didn't do and some other people did, and I'm going to explain my decisions. Most of the items I'll try to put a link in the description, so if you are interested in any of the mods, please check it out. Let's go. The first thing that I changed was the battery. The stock battery on this bike weighs 3.8 kilos. It's a behemoth, it's huge. So I replaced it for a lithium battery that only weighs, I think, 500 grams. The one I have is actually a bit undersized because it came from a scooter, a moped. So I recommend that you don't get something this small, maybe get something with the right reference, but in lithium, and that will save you at least 3 kilos. I think it's not a lot of money and a very big weight benefit. Yeah. The stock exhaust weighs 3.6 kilos. It's huge. I mean, it's not huge, but it's super heavy. And I replaced it with a random one from AliExpress. Back in the day there were no CFMoto 450 MT specific cans, so I bought a random one and then I took it to a car shop to make an adapter. It works super well. It saved me at least 2 kilos and gave the bike a little bit of a deeper, throatier noise sound without being too obnoxious. The headers, the pipes, the exhaust pipes, these ones came from Uncle Wang shop. They are supposed to be made of titanium. I weighted them and they saved me another 2.4 kilos, and with an added benefit because they don't have a catalyzer, so the bike breathes a little bit better, it runs a little bit colder, and I think that's all benefits. Yeah, very happy with this setup. I think I saved about 7 kilos. I will do the math down here. And I didn't break the bank, like it was not that expensive, and 7 kilos, it's significant. And something I almost forgot. I considered taking this whole metal assembly out. It would save me about 1.5 kilos, so not a lot. But what I realized is that without it, I didn't have a proper place to grab the bike when I wanted to lift it. So I put it back on. It's not worth it to save only 1.5 kilos to have difficulties lifting the bike, so screw that. Ergonomics are obviously a very important thing to get right when you buy a new motorcycle, and of course I've done all that. I've adjusted the handlebar, I've adjusted the pedals, the levers, all of those things, but I have 1.80 m, that's my height, and I felt that the stock seat, which is much lower than this, was a bit too low. Like my knees were very bent and they were touching like this protrusion here on the tank. The difference between sitting down and standing up was huge, so it was an effort. I was getting lazy, spending most of the day either sitting or standing, and so I bought the rally seat. My legs now have a much better angle, position. It's much easier to stand up. Sitting down is still a sort of an aggressive position because I'm sitting on the bike, not inside the bike. And so yeah, for me it was maybe one of the best upgrades that I have done. So if you are as tall as me or taller, definitely consider this. I didn't change a lot more in terms of ergonomics, but I did change the lever. My clutch lever is a short one, as you can see, and this made a huge difference. Not necessarily because it's short, but because it's flat here on the back side. The stock one, just like on the KTM's 890 and the Nordens, they are serrated, like they have these like indentations here, which is terrible because sometimes you get your fingers clamped under the lever and you cannot get them out because they are stuck on that little thingy. It's terrible. So yeah, this was a very, very useful, inexpensive upgrade that I thank every day that I got it. Unlike most people, I'm not that bothered about this bike's lack of raw power, so I've never tried to improve it, but I did do some performance upgrades, and probably the one that I think was the most important is the steering damper. This bike is not unstable per se. I never felt it was like an unstable bike, but on the highway at high speeds you feel that the handlebar is a bit light, like it's not stable. It's kind of moving. On off-road it has happened to me, like sometimes you're going super fast, you hit some rock, and instead of the bike touching the rock, moving the handlebar of course, and then stabilizing, it would just go into like a tank slap situation, which is super scary and very, very, very dangerous. I tried to correct that with suspension adjustment, tire pressure, different tires, different heights on the suspension. I've done it all. Most of those things actually helped, but none of them solved it. But this inexpensive steering damper solved the problem 100% and actually made the bike a little bit more interesting to use. Like this bike is not a very heavy bike, and the steering damper gives it a bit more of a planted feeling. I hope I'm describing the feeling well enough. I think this bike has very decent suspension, so I've done a lot of adjustments. I've played with it a lot. More preload, less rebound, more compression, up and down, down and up, whatever. I've done everything, but I didn't spend a dime. Like, I didn't upgrade the suspension yet. It's fine, I'm riding fast enough, I'm happy. It could be better, yes. It could be much better, yes, but it's not bad, and I'm happy. One thing I will consider doing eventually is to try the famous 15 teeth front sprocket. A lot of people that ride these bikes on road, they say that these 15 teeth sprockets, they make the bike longer, lower RPMs at high speeds, which makes sense. I'm sure it's gonna work. But for off-roading I was a bit concerned, like maybe the bike would not have enough acceleration to be fun or useful off-road. But the other day I tried a bike from a friend of mine who has the 15 tooth sprocket, and what I found is that now the low gears, like the first, the second, the third, they also become a bit longer, so they are usable for a longer or at a higher speed. So I didn't feel there was like a decrease in acceleration. There was definitely a change in gears and gear choices, but that didn't seem to me like a problem. Like, it actually seemed like a good idea, so maybe I'll try. There seems to be a recurring problem on the CFMoto, which is the rear wheel bearings go bad in a short while. Mine did at 7,000 kilometers and then again at 12,000 kilometers. And the problem is the wheel spacers are a little bit too small, so they let dirt and water get inside the bearing. So I bought a kit from Rally Raid. I'll put the link in the description. Well, they sell a slightly bigger spacer that is supposed to solve this problem. So far so good, but we will see in a few thousand kilometers. Another thing I have installed for reliability, but also to please my lazy ass, is the Unifilter pre-filter. It goes into the snorkel base, so the biggest particles, and most of them, will get caught there, and they don't even reach the inside of the bike, the the actual air filter. So it gives me a little bit extra peace of mind. I have to clean the bike less often. A stronger engine plate, it's non-negotiable. Like the stock one is very thin, very flimsy, it's basically tin foil. So get something stronger. Mine is one of the first available on the internet. Maybe now there's even better models, I don't know. Mine is working fine. It doesn't rattle. It took a beating already. As you can see, it has lots of dents and marks, but it has been doing its job. Get one of these. You may have noticed that I'm not using headlight protectors or even crash bars. And the reason for that is that, well, when it comes to the headlights, I don't usually ride with aggressive riders with super knobby tires. We are not that close to each other. They are not throwing rocks at my face. So I think for the kind of riding that I do, the kind of events that I join, this is unnecessary. The crash bars, kind of the same problem or the same thing. It's too much weight, it's top heavy. I don't like to have unnecessary things on the bike, and nowadays, because I am an experienced rider, I usually don't crash. Don't get me wrong, I drop the bike all the time. This bike has been on the ground at least 20 times, but it's like a slow drop on a very technical situation. It usually doesn't hurt the bike. It hurts a little bit, of course. It has some scratches on the plastics, whatever, you know. It's an off-road bike, I don't care. If I want to have it mint one of these days, I'll just buy a sticker kit and a few plastics and it will be mint. But because I don't crash hard usually, well, knock on wood, I don't use crash bars. I'm not saying what you should do, I'm saying what I feel comfortable doing. I'm paranoid about the weight, so I'm not carrying stuff that I don't need. Why do I still have the stock hand guards that are a bit flimsy? Because they do what they have to do, I guess. Like they are here to protect my hands from the bushes and whatever. My levers are already cut or they are short, so I'm not worried about breaking levers. So why not have these ones until they completely break, and then eventually I'll buy something better. Also, I'm not a big fan of those hand guards with the metal bar inside, because it's too rigid. What happens is after 10,000 crashes they will become bent, out of shape, and then they don't even fit the handlebar anymore, and they will rattle and move. And that's kind of the best case scenario, because the worst case scenario is that they are so strong that when the bike hits the ground, the energy has to go somewhere, and it will go to the handlebar, and then you will bend the handlebar. So I prefer the plastic ones, and for now I'm using the stock ones. Later maybe I will buy the Polysport ones that are kind of the same, but much thicker, much stronger. And let's begin with the Savage bags and the Savage metal brackets. So these things, they are supported by these metal plates. They are very slim, they are strong, but they are lightweight. The bags themselves, they are semi-rigid, so they have like a shape, but then overall they are soft. The quality is good, the price is super affordable, and I use an extra strap just to give it a little bit more support, because I carry a lot of tools, a lot of spare parts during the tours, and I didn't want this to be relying only on the normal brackets of the bags. I needed to give it a little bit more tension. I'm also using one of these 40-liter bags. They attach to the bike using like 4 connecting points. It's super practical, you can remove this in 2 seconds. This one is from Reno Walk, and I do not recommend that you guys get the ones with a zipper. It's very practical while it works. Like, I love zippers while they work, but off-roading, there's too much dust, there's too much crashes, there's too many things happening. I don't think zippers are overall a good idea for off-road equipment. So mine is not working anymore. I know it's a cheap brand, whatever, but just go for the ones without the zipper. That's my suggestion. One of the upgrades I love the most, and it was by far one of the most inexpensive, is the manual cruise control. So basically this thing lets you lock the throttle in place. It's not locked, it's just kind of pressured to stay in place. And yeah, it does an amazing job. It just keeps the throttle where you want it. You can operate it with one hand. I also have a chain oiler. So basically this is a compartment for oil, thick oil, transmission oil. I turn this around like half a turn, and there's a tube that feeds through the bike and ends up there on my chain protection. So basically it's like a tube that is touching the chain like this, and it's dripping oil on the chain, so it keeps it lubed. Is it as good as lubing the bike with proper chain spray and whatever? Probably not, but it's way better than what I usually do, which is nothing, just to be too lazy to take care of it. So this at least keeps the chain kind of maintained, and it has been doing a good job, and it's not expensive. I follow GPS tracks quite often, so I needed a sturdy, proper system to have my phone where I wanted it. At first I had it here on the handlebar, but then I installed this bag, which is also a nice thing, a nice upgrade, very practical for cameras, keys, wallet, whatever. But because I wanted this here, then I had to put the phone elsewhere, and I got this is a 3D printed, high quality, super sturdy 3D print from Bikes Peak. This is easy to install. It has a little hole there for you to feed the USB charger, so you can have the cable coming out of this little socket there. And then I installed the quad lock. This comes with a few holes for you to install all sorts of things. I chose a quad lock, and my phone, my GPS phone, just clips on here. So very nice. Oh, and before you ask, the software I've been using for navigation is the DMD2. It has been my favorite for a few years now, and I have been using a phone to run DMD2, but now I will be using their own hardware. So this is the T665. It's a specialized Android for off-road navigation, so you can charge it using the pins, or you can charge it using a USB. This is a rugged phone with high luminosity, so you can see everything in broad daylight. Eager to test it. And last but not least, we have the graphics kit. So my bike has a sticker kit, this blue thingy and black. Why? Well, it protects the bike a little bit, I guess. Anyway, I wanted the bike to look different, and also the blue stripes and the blue things kind of match my brand kit. So yeah, so that was it. So yeah, there you have it, all the upgrades that I have done to the bike. If you liked any of these, please check the description. There will be links for at least most of them, and some of these links will even give me a small commission, so thank you in advance. Well guys, now I think I'm done. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and if so, please don't forget to like, to subscribe, to hit the thingy, and to share. See you next week, and happy rides!